Hello and welcome to another Warcraft Cataclysm beta video. Today we're going to be talking about the new abilities for the Shaman class. In case you're wondering, I'm filming this in Mount Hyjal. Yes, it looks really cool. This is Ragnaros' new little fortress here. So I'm going to be testing a couple of abilities on this hapless magma giant who is trapped over here on this island. The first one is going to be Bind Elemental. This is a new crowd control ability for the Shaman. It's just like Banish, except it doesn't work on demons. Okay. The second one I'm going to be testing is Spirit Walker's Grace. Calls upon spiritual self, blah blah blah. It allows you to cast spells while moving. Spells that aren't instant cast while moving. So this is obviously primarily for PvP, but I'm sure there's a million ways that you can find to use this. It's just such a great little spell. So I'm going to show both these in action. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and bind this elemental, 30-yard range and a 50-second duration. So now he's helpless and he's like, oh, I want to attack that shaman, but I can't. So now I'm going to shoot some lightning bolts at him after I start my Spirit Walker's Grace, and now he's I can just run back and forth and shoot. Okay, now I attacked him so he actually popped out of Bind Elemental, so I'm going to rebind him while I'm backing off. Uh-oh. My Spirit Walker's Grace ran out. I better bind him again. There we go. So I have rebinded him, and this time you do not want to attack him and break the Bind Elemental, so I'm glad I showed you that. Just like, I guess it's a little bit more like the Priest Shackle than it is more like Banish, so a combination of the two, rather. Okay, so that's those two abilities. Now I'm going to run away from this guy like a big old coward. And just go swimming in the lava. Almost got through without taking damage, and he will de-aggro here in just a little bit. Okay, moving on, there's still a few other spells I want to show you. The big one is an enhancement. It's called Unleash Elements. What this does is it kind of acts like the Paladin ability. That's very similar. What it does is it does an attack that's different depending on what your enchantment is on your weapon. Okay, so it's different for each one. I'll go through one by one. The Wind Fury weapon gives you does a small damage attack. Oh, he's coming back. He's mad. Does a small damage attack and also gives you a huge attack speed bonus for a short amount of time. So definitely good to use that. You always want to work that in your rotation as enhancement. Okay, Flame Tongue, although it doesn't say it on the tooltip, what Flame Tongue weapon does is it makes your next fire spell do additional damage. So this is useful for either enhancement or elemental. Frostbrand, it does a big burst of damage and also slows the target. Okay, and lastly, Earth Living Weapon heals a target and it also increases damage of the healing rather of your next direct heal by 20%. So this is great to give you a nice little instant heal on a short cooldown, not so you don't have to rely on, you know, the old stuff like Nature Swiftness or whatever. Okay. Now your healing spells have also been rebalanced. First, you have a new AoE heal, Healing Rain, which drops, you know, Healing Rain, but it's an area of effect hot. It's not channeled, so you can just drop it on the units, run around, do whatever you want, heal with other spells, what have you. Okay. Now for the other healing spells, Chain Heal is unchanged. You have Healing Surge, Healing Wave, and Greater Healing Wave. There's no Lesser Healing Wave anymore. Okay. Healing Surge is your quick heal. It's just, you know, this is pretty much Lesser Healing Wave. Okay. Then Healing Wave is your 3-second heal. I have a little bit of spell haste, so that's why it shows 2.89. Okay, and this is just your cheap, efficient heal. Greater Healing Wave is the same length, the same cast length, but it costs many more times as much mana. It's a super expensive heal, but it heals you for a lot. See, at my stats, which are pretty poor, it's a 10,000 heal, while Healing Wave is a lot less. Let's see what Healing Wave does for me. Healing Wave does about 5,000. So Greater Healing Wave is just like more power, but more cost. By a large amount. Okay, next we have Totem of the Tranquil Mind. This uses the old Tranquility Totem icon, but it's a completely different thing. It is essentially Concentration Aura, you know, the Paladin Aura. What it does is it causes party members to take less casting and channeling time when they're hit. Okay, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, the last ability I want to show you is Primal Strike. It's for enhancement. This is for low-level shamans. It's replaced by Storm Strike. It actually has a shared cooldown, so I'm going to run up and Primal Strike this guy and hit him for just a weak little amount. And it actually has a shared cooldown with Storm Strike, so you want to replace Primal Strike with Storm Strike once you get the appropriate level. And oh, he knocked me in the lava. What a jerk. So I need to get out of the lava, and I need to go ahead and bind him and run away. So, haha, it's just nice having CC. I played Shaman forever, and Hex was like the best thing in the world, but Hex does have a very long cooldown. Bind Elemental has no cooldown, so I do enjoy having what you would consider a proper or traditional CC now in my class. But Anyway, not a whole lot has changed on the Shaman enhancement tree. The main thing is that this new ability, Primal Wisdom, causes you to regenerate mana when you attack, as opposed to the old way you regenerate mana, which is Shamanistic Rage. The Shamanistic Rage is still here, but it no longer regenerates mana. It's used as a PvP talent instead. Okay. The next thing that's changed is Searing Flames and Improved Lava Lash. They work together. Searing Flames causes your Searing Totem to put a dot on the target. This is primarily for raiding, because anything else will be too fast-paced to take advantage of this. The dot does stack a whole bunch of times, and that's what you want to be able to use it to its fullest. And Improved Lava Lash, it takes your Lava Lash, which is a lot more powerful, by the way, a lot more powerful in Cataclysm than it was in Wrath of the Lich King. Takes your Lava Lash and gives it a nice big old buff for every application of Searing Flame on the target, but it does consume those applications, so it's not something that you use to just really blast out the Lava Lashes, but it does give you a nice little burst. So this is pretty effective for raiding. I didn't get it in this build just because I'm just making like a little solo grinding build, so I wasn't too concerned about that. And the last thing I wanted to go over was the Mastery for enhancement. Increases your fire, frost, and nature damage done by a large amount, and increases that with more mastery. So that affects almost all of your damage. Very good mastery. Okay, moving on to Elemental, there's a couple of new talents that I wanted to go over. First of all, we have Rolling Thunder. When you deal damage with Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, your Lightning Shield gains extra charges. Now you're wondering, what am I going to do with extra charges? Next comes to Fulmination. When you have more than 3 charges active, your Earthshock spell will consume any surplus charges, instantly dealing their total damage, and I will demonstrate that for you in a moment. Next we have Feedback. Your Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning spells reduce the cooldown on your Elemental Mastery talent. So what you can do is actually just keep spamming Lightning Bolts to get your Elemental Mastery back. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's start by demonstrating the effect of Lightning Shield. As I'm going to spam Lightning Bolts in this target, you see my charges have increased to 4, and will continue increasing. Now once I have 7 charges, I unload an Earthshock, and it uses up my surplus charges, leaving me with 3. So anytime I want to, I can just build up some more charges. I have 4 again, so I pop it and get 3, and you see it adds the extra damage in there for you. Okay, moving on to Earthquake. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this one outside, plus I would just want to fly around Dunmoreau for a bit. But mainly because Earthquake does not really show up very well on the floor in Ironforge. So we'll see how it looks out on the snow. There we go. Anything caught in that is going to be stunned and knocked down, and it also does a whole bunch of damage. Pretty good stuff. Gets a good little spell. Okay. The best part about it is it has no cooldown. You just have to wait to get your mana back. So, try to get just a little bit more mana back here. I'm going to hit Spirit Walker's Grace. And start channeling Earthquake and running around with my channeled Earthquake still going with this great combination of spells. But Spirit Walker's Grace wore off, so my Earthquake broke early. But anyway, now moving on to Masteries, the Enhancement one I've already gone over. That increases your spell damage, of course. The Elemental one is really cool. This is actually Elemental Overload, the old talent. It's the same functionality as Overload, but it gets more and more powerful. It gets a higher proc chance with extra points of Mastery. So that is so cool. This is a great ability. It's only 75% of normal damage and no threat. So it's really nice to get this as a mastery, because you can actually, buff it with your gear. So moving on to Deep Healing for Restoration, which increases the potency of your direct healing spells by up to 20% based on the current health level, so lower health targets are healed for more. This is how HOTS work now. All HOTS in the game work by healing extra when the target is lower on health, but this one works for direct healing spells as well. And each point of mastery increases the potency of that ability, so more mastery means your deep healing will be really fantastic for saving people who get down low. Alright, well that's it for the new Shaman abilities, and I'll see you at the next video.